Every so often, I browse the internet for Rivals related stuff. I come across the average Fantastic player always asking for tips and ways to improve, or even straight up how to play as Mr. Fantastic. And I realized you don't want to be just good, you want to be fantastic. You've come to the right channel. While Mr. Fantastic's abilities in Ultimate are fairly straightforward, getting the most out of his kit can be difficult to understand or execute. Marvel Rivals is an ever-changing game, both within a game and the game's mechanics over time. The team you face at the beginning of a match can be completely different by the end, maybe even 5 more times in between. I've already made countless videos explaining and showcasing how Mr. Fantastic can go up against any hero in every map, barring Season 3, but I've rarely dipped my toes into solely explaining how to play as Mr. Fantastic. So here it is, a video, unlike many others, explaining how to play as Mr. Fantastic. Hello everybody, welcome back. It is I, DJ Turtle Vortex. In this video, I'll go over some basic tips and tricks for each ability for Mr. Fantastic, as well as ways to gauge your improvement over time. In fact, in the past, I've done VOD reviews for Mr. Fantastic players, and that experience has been enlightening for myself as well. This has helped me create the perfect guide for all things Mr. Fantastic. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Marvel Rivals content. Let's kick things off with Mr. Fantastic's primary fire, the Stretch Punch. We're going to go a bit deeper than just numbers and stats when it comes to talking about these abilities. But let's get the numbers out of the way for Stretch Punch. Stretch Punch deals 65 damage per punch at a maximum of 15 meters. They're punches, so obviously it's infinite with about a second between each punch. These basic punches add 8 elasticity to your elastic meter. We'll talk about Fantastic's elastic strength passive later. The first thing to note about the punches is that they alternate between hands, with both hands being the last of the combo. This is not as important for Fantastic compared to other heroes, but this is good to know. Because in Rivals, due to being a third-person game, right-handed attacks are favored more and are generally better for peeking attacks or attacks behind cover. This makes it important for you to be aware of your surroundings as you fight, to ensure your punches don't get clipped by walls or blocked by shields. This is also important for fighting behind cover, behind objectives, or between corridors, as your punches last a lot longer than they seem, which allows you to wind them up and strike behind cover. These punches also cleave past enemies side to side, but they don't pierce through enemies. This makes learning movement with Fantastic important, namely your strafing as you punch. Here's a hidden tip when it comes to fighting as Mr. Fantastic. When strafing, if you punch a shield and cleave it to the side, you can potentially hit enemies that are still behind it if there is some parts of them to the side. Out of all of the abilities, this is the one that can make or break a fight. Mainly for 2 reasons. Its damage and crowd control. On the surface, this ability has 3 points of damage. The first hand, the second hand, and the squeeze or double pull. The single target squeeze deals more damage at 50, while the double squeeze deals 30 to each target pulled. So that's a total of 50 per target or 70 on one target. It's not much, but once you pull them into range, you can finish them up with the rest of your abilities. You also have more range to grab with the left hand than you do with the right hand. The initial range is longer than your punch. Distended Grip's range is 20 meters, with the second being listed as 25 meters. But honestly, at times, it feels like it can probably go further. Here's something interesting to note, and I mentioned this in my short detailing 5 hidden tech for Mr. Fantastic. When you're using Distended Grip, Mr. Fantastic extends with his right arm first. This means that you have more space and range on your left side than you do on your right side. Additionally, this ability grants 30 elasticity, making it the ability with the biggest source of elasticity generation for Fantastic. What's great about it is that you can use it at any time to maintain or increase your elastic meter due to the low cooldown at 6 seconds. In fact, a great tip is that in spawn rooms or before you're about to get into a big fight, you can use this ability to get huge boosts to your meter and unlock your inflated state sooner. Aiming at the ground allows this ability to activate faster, as the cooldown doesn't begin until the arm is completely retracted. Can the pull be manipulated in any way? No. I've tested it rigorously, and its nature is to simply pull. You can change the direction of the pull, not by where you are looking, but by where you are going. but that is also conversely influenced by the enemy as well. They cannot resist the pulling effect, but they can influence whether left or right it goes, same as you can. It's crucial to know that the purpose of this move is preventing retreat, manipulating or controlling their movement in that specific moment. This ability is the bread and butter for Mr. Fantastic. If you're not punching, you're definitely using this ability instead. This ability gives Mr. Fantastic a 75 HP shield upon contact or finishing the full thrust. For an ally, they gain the same amount as shields, whereas an enemy gains a 35% slow debuff and 30 damage. The debuff lasts for about a second and a half. For this ability, you have 2 charges and the cooldown is 8 seconds. You gain 20 elasticity for each use as well. One extremely important thing to note is that the damage and slow from this ability is AoE, or area of effect, and not single target. So if you use this ability to chase an enemy as they retreat to their team, that group will also take the damage and suffer the debuff. In fact, it can also be cleaved in a way, but that isn't really something to strive for. Lastly, and I cover this extensively in my how to counter DPS video, flexible elongation can bring down flying heroes due to the slow debuff. So in maps with lower ceilings, Mr. Fantastic can easily shut down flyers like Ultron, Iron Man, Storm, and Human Torch. It can also reduce the distances that Panther, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk can normally reach with their abilities. This is why Mr. Fantastic is often considered a counter dive hero. By simply elongating to a teammate that is getting dived upon, they can not only provide shields, but deal damage and slow the enemy right in their tracks. It's an incredible bodyguard tool, disruption tool, and mobility tool, of course. This ability has many hidden features. I've covered it in so many unique directions that to consolidate them here would be a large task. So I implore you to watch some of my other Mr. Fantastic content as I explore its uses against the overall Marvel Rivals roster. In this video though, we'll focus on the general stuff and some of the useful applications that can be made for any hero. In this rubber mode, you can absorb up to 300 damage of any kind. In fact, when you use this mode, you simply cannot die. Nothing will kill you. Not Iron Man, not Scarlet Witch, not Magneto, Jeff, nothing. So the 300 damage is what it takes to get you out of this rubber mode. It also lasts for 3 seconds. When you take the 300 damage or under, you shoot a rebound projectile from your waist. If your waist doesn't have line of sight, it simply won't hit. And if it does, it honestly still might not hit. This move is incredibly janky and no regs all the time. But the moment it doesn't, it really shines and can take out most squishy enemies as it deals a maximum of 180 or 60% of whatever damage was absorbed by the shield. When you use this mode, there is a bit of self-impairment as your movement speed is crushed by 35%. So it's important to not wield this ability as a survival tool often. It's a good Uno reverse card or a wonderful shield as it tanks everything without drawbacks and ignores debuffs entirely, such as Winter Soldier, Storm, Groot, or Black Widow's ultimate. Of course, we all get bogged down by the tempo of a fight and try to stay alive longer and end up using this ability which traps us in place. I also happen to make this mistake all the time, but I can also stall the objective with it, unlike other abilities that can tank damage, such as Hulk's shifting to Bruce or vice versa. Granted, this behavior is a double-edged sword, so try not to stagger your team's respawns with it. Want to know a secret about this ability that hasn't been covered anywhere but this channel? When you're in this mode, you are untrackable by the AI and automatic abilities of this game. Namor's squids, Punisher's rockets, Star-Lord's ultimate, abilities such as these cannot target you whatsoever. It's like you're invisible. Speaking of invisible, when you use this ability and stand in front of an enemy or ally, they also cannot be targeted at all. Like literally at all. Whether ultimate or abilities such as the Thing's Leap or Jeff and Doctor Strange's ultimate. This is a great tool and in the right hands an invincibility gimmick. So be sure to exercise the use of this ability at the right times. This also means choosing not to use this ability and dying quicker so you can rejoin your team sooner for another fight. Now that you've used everything in your kit, you've finally reached 100 elasticity and filled up your meter. You kick things to high gear and become inflated. In this mode, your movement speed increases by 20% and your damage is up from 65 to 80 for 8 seconds. You attack faster and your health balloons up by 350 HP, other shields notwithstanding. So with a base HP of 375, 2 shields worth 75, and an inflated mode with 350 extra HP, you can reach a whopping 875 HP. And if I recall, you could go a little higher back in Season 2. Anyway, in this mode, you can tank hits, deal damage through shields, and move faster, all bonuses at the explicit costs of having none of your other abilities other than your ultimate available, which makes it a unique tool in fights, because sometimes it's actually better to immediately cancel it and resume using your other abilities right away. Whether that's the right move or not depends on the situation, but I've had moments where I simply go inflated just to get the temporary HP momentarily when healing is tight and cancel it. Because regardless of how quickly the temporary HP decays, it's still doing its job by protecting your actual health bar, and you still get the use of your other abilities sooner. In fact, this is the true hallmark of an adept Fantastic player, knowing when to cancel inflated or when to push with it. Because oftentimes, you can move just a tad bit forward and get exploded out of nowhere in a choke point, especially in maps like Central Park or Spider Islands with their bridge choke points. Brainiac Bounce is an AoE ultimate. You get 3 default bounces and up to 3 subsequent bounces provided you hit the enemy after each one. This same property applies to the damage of the ultimate. The first hit deals 70 damage, with each hit afterwards dealing 14 more damage than the previous one, with the last hit dealing 140 damage. The AoE is a 10-meter sphere, so you've got some verticality with this ult. Don't be afraid to target some flyers and knock them down. Also, there's some slight damage fall off at the edges of the ultimate, so try to hit your enemies square in the middle. Or circle in the middle in this case. The slow duration for each hit applied lasts 3 seconds, and just like the damage, each hit applies 10% with a maximum of 60% because you do 6 hits. It's no slouch and is a better slowing ultimate than Black Widow, for example. It's like the ultimate version of the flexible elongation ability, as you gain shield and the enemy takes damage and is slowed. Whenever this ultimate is discussed, however, it's never about the details and mechanics of the ultimate, it's how it is used. There's no perfect way or guaranteed way to use it. It's not simple like Iron Man or Moon Knight, where they can be used in every or any fight. It's niche, and if used improperly, demoralizingly useless. So how do you use it when there's no right answer? You use it when the time is right, which is entirely up to you. I know it sounds like a cop-out answer, but Brainiac Bounce is a momentum ultimate. It keeps what you have going, or it destroys what the enemy has built up. What does this mean exactly? The best times I've found to make the most out of Brainiac Bounce is when the enemy's support ult is about to finish, to launch myself forward past the tanks and isolate the backline, potentially killing or forcing support ults, and keeping forward momentum as we push the objective or keep an aggressive playstyle. Don't use this ultimate to counter support ultimates. It buckles underneath any healing pressure, so it's best to execute it when the enemy is already low or has no resources to mitigate the incoming damage, hence using it after a support ult has finished. If you want to see a better breakdown, I cover it in depth in my how to counter support video for Mr. Fantastic, as it is an ultimate that struggles to deal damage compared to similar ults such as Winter Soldier under the scrutiny of healing. In that video, I mentioned how important it is to remember that Brainiac Bounce is twofold damage and slow, and I also cover it when you have to go up against triple healing as Mr. Fantastic. I wanted to include Mr. Fantastic's team up with Invisible Woman. It's something that you'll see a lot, and it's something that I covered quite a bit in one of my VOD reviews that I've done in a past live stream. The ability is essentially an extra shield that generates 5 temporary HP for every damage you've taken, up to a maximum of 100 damage. So if you take damage, then the shield gets it replaces it with temporary HP essentially. There is a slight trick with this team up that allows you to cancel into other abilities. So if you use the team up first and then you use any other ability, it cancels their startup animations quite quickly. Now that we've discussed all of the individual abilities and team ups that Mr. Fantastic has, I wanted to do a little sum of its parts live gameplay and showcase how to use each of his abilities in tandem, how they work together in the middle of a match, what you want to think of as you do them, and how to improve over time, and sort of the mindset that you should have. I've covered some of that in the playstyle video, but in here I want to do a little bit of a live gameplay with live commentary sort of situation. So here we'll be jumping into Ixguard, we'll be playing defense. It is quick play. I'll have some other content from Mr. Fantastic in the future, but for now I just want to show the sort of culmination of all of Mr. Fantastic's kits into one live gameplay. So, just like I've explained with the Ixguard map in the map video, I'm going to be hanging over on this right side a little bit and just kind of using it to do my punches. Seeing who they have a little bit. Moon Knight is going to be rough. And Warlock is also going to be rough. Going to give things some extra shielding. Be careful of Groot walls. I'm rubbering so I can get some preemptive damage. Another no-reg. Right now they have the... Oh, they're a triple tank. That's not good. I'm going to go for the Thing because he's pretty low. Now I'm going to dive further for the Atom. Now I'm going to try and get out with the... Or get the Moon Knight. I'm going to get the Moon Knight. I'm going to go a little aggressive. Going to help my Thing. Give him some shield. Using rubber so this thing doesn't get past me. Using team up just in case things get rough. Nice. Adam Warlock was frontlining. Gonna try and go for Groot because Groot's the weakest so far. Cancelled my inflated so I can get the Thing out of there. As much as I want to get him, I'll try. Gonna get rubber and use it on him. This is why Fantastic is really good. His survivability is insane. I'm not gonna use it because they have Soul Bond right now, so instead I'm gonna try and get out. I can give it an elongation to the Thing, so he has him in life. They have 3 tanks still, so they can absorb a lot more damage than we can. So my goal is to stay alive, stay away from the walls. Now that the ultimate is out, just gotta wait it out. Try and survive, wait it out. Target who you can. Going for rockets. Going for rockets. Going for rockets. Gonna ult. Going for Adam. Adam is one of the more demoralizing ones because all it takes is the snap of his fingers and you lose everything. Groot is walling himself over. He's not going anywhere. Get back here. There we go. There we go. Perfect gameplay. If... Don't do it. Don't do it. He did it. So as I jump over to this Moon Knight, I just want to add, as we go through this live gameplay, that some of the strategies, whether defense or offense, that I showcase in this map, I actually explain in my Win Every Map video for Mr. Fantastic. And if you go to the section where we watch the Ixguard map, I detail that sometimes you want to stand on that platform and sweep up and dive to enemies who use the top platform. So feel free to check out that video. It tells you a lot more than this little snippet here.
Gonna go after the Thing. Once I have enough space, I'm gonna go after Warlock once the Soul Bond is gone. That's why I'm using the team up preemptively. Because I wanna last long enough. I have inflated. I'm gonna punch the shit out of him. I'm out. I'm out. I'm canceling inflated and I'm going straight back to rubber. I was able to dodge this. I'm going to try and elongate to Loki so he can get some HP. Now I'm just playing defensive. I see Venom. Venom is much more annoying. It's triple tank, which is very odd. But that's totally fine. It's all about staying alive. I see Adam Warlock. I'm going for him. Inflated. He got killed. I'm going for Moon Knight. You want to be careful against ranged heroes because if they have that much distance on you, it's not going to be worth it. So just kind of peel back, give shields where you can, get out, wait for your team up. Now the next ultimate is going to be rockets. Adam Warlock hasn't used his. You can see how amazing Distended Grip can be. When I said that range is a little longer than it looks, it was a little longer than it looks. Gonna give the Thing some flexibility, some shields. There we go. Rocket's ultimate is out. I'm gonna break it down. I'm only doing this as inflated because it's the only way to do it. If I was not inflated, I would not have bothered doing it. Unfortunately, they have a Wolverine, so I was got stuck by the walls, got killed by Wolverine, but it happens. Now my goal is to try and use the ultimate again, now that Rocket doesn't have his ultimate, and they don't seem to have it literally any other support, so...
30 seconds.
Let's see if we can even win things out again with this support. Now Wolverine is a little bit of a tricky one. They are like 3 tanks in this shit. Cleaning up. Going for Rocket. Staying away from walls. Stalling for as long as I can. Inflated. Stalling for as long as I can. Ulting. Stalling for as long as I can. Going for Black Widow. Then going for Rocket. Missed by a little bit. But I should be able to still kill him. Going for Moon Knight. Inflated, so this is perfect. I don't care about his Unk. I have enough HP. Getting Wolverine, helping my Loki. He still has... He ulted, he missed me. Can still go for Wolverine. Nice. Going for Groot. Groot can die. Inflated, don't matter. Black Widow, don't matter. It really don't matter. And that's how you survive as Mr. Fantastic, alone. Getting slow so he doesn't get to the points. And I hope I was able to illustrate to you just as with those last few seconds how you could survive as Mr. Fantastic and clinch the win. Right? Times like that is when you want to decide to use an ability, and times when you didn't. If I did hit that rocket earlier, that would have been amazing too, but you can see how relentless and ignoring you could be of the tanks in the game and just kind of go for the supports and ultimates. So, there you go. If you've reached this far in the video, I cannot thank you enough for your support. Please do leave a like and subscribe. I'm hoping that with this guide, I've been able to give you a good showcase into how to play as Mr. Fantastic, from his primary fire, all of his abilities, to his ultimate and his team up, and some of the mindset that you should have when you go up against him, and the sum of all of his parts as a character. If you want more in-depth knowledge from Mr. Fantastic, I've got you covered. My channel is full of breakdowns on how to play as Mr. Fantastic against the entire Marvel Rivals roster through every single map with any playstyle. So once again guys, thank you so much for your support. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.